Today, our platinum sponsors have come to the No Code Tech Summit, and we will be having a lightning session on being better together and how technical and non-technical teams can collaborate. This session is going to be presented by the one, the only Global Head of Marketing at Gray. Her name is Nwabueze. So please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Nwabueze to come on, take the stage, and talk about how technical and non-technical teams can be better together, can be collaborators, and can make the tech ecosystem go forward faster.
Hi, everyone. It's lovely to be here today. Fun fact, I'd say this is the first time that I'm actually getting to speak at a conference of any sort in Nigeria, which is weird because I've spoken in like a lot of other countries, but never Nigeria. So I'm hoping that you will be nice to me. Will you be nice to me? Thank you. So I'm going to be talking about something that is very, very, I don't want to say dear to me, but it's very important. I'm going to start with a question. So you're going to put up your hand if you have experienced what I'm going to say. So how many of you, I know that almost everyone in this room is a no-code tech professional. So how many of you have ever felt like someone feels like they can do your job better than you? Just two people. Okay. If you're in marketing and your hand is not up, I don't know what's going on. How many people here are in marketing? So I think that's something that every marketer can relate to. Somebody always feels like they know your job better than you, right? Am I correct? And it's not easy to deal with. Like, it's not easy to deal with. I mean, I'll give a scenario. So you've written your strategy, you've written go-to-market, everything is looking good, you're doing your rollout on social media, and then you just see that something has changed. And someone comes up to you and tells you, oh, so you know when we were doing it, we just felt like it should look better this way. And you're like, but that's not what I had in my mind when I was trying to do this thing. And I think that that's a situation that almost everyone can like relate to. I think the only people who, have never had to deal with someone randomly changing something that they've done are probably devs and people who like code, because you can't change someone's code. You probably break it. So I'm going to be talking about how non-tech and tech teams can collaborate better. Sorry, I'm just going to look at my slides a little bit. Please bear with me. So I have hashtag collaborate 3 times. Okay, so honest question. Let me say the truth. The person who answers my question now and gives me a wonderful answer will get my merch box. Who can define or tell us what collaboration means, especially, relating to our industry and like our space as, no-code tech professionals? Anyone? Don't be shy, just raise your hand. Hi, please come up. Hi. So I want to give you the mic so everyone can hear what you say.
Hi, everybody. Okay, for me, collaboration, when it comes to tech, non-tech, it has to do with brands coming together to, if it's for growth, you are coming together to, scale up something, or you are coming together to achieve a particular goal. For instance, let's say for an event like this, we have startups that could easily sponsor, and that's a kind of collaboration, like coming together to achieve a particular goal. Yeah, I think that.
Thank you, Milo. So yeah, she's pretty much said a little bit, but I think that somebody else can give me more. But don't worry, you can still come up and just say my name, they'll give you match. But does anybody have any different? Okay, please come. Yes, you. Okay, no, her. Sorry. Or if there's a mic, can someone give her a mic? Is there a mic that she can use? Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. When I think of the word collaboration, I'm thinking a mutually beneficial relationship. Pretty much tit for tat. What's in for me, what's in for your brand as well. So that's what I think when I think of the word collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that actually like sums it all up, especially when you're talking about, non-tech and then tech teams. So the only way that products are shipped successfully is because a group of people have all come together. Someone's worked on the branding, someone's worked on the content, someone's worked on the copy, someone's worked on the code, the code slash the front end and the back end and all of that. And then when all of those things come together, then you have like a whole product that's ready to, go live and for people to use. So I think that building products and successfully scaling them speaks to the essence of like what collaboration is, right? Next slide, please. And today, my main objective, this is a lightning talk, so it's going to be very short. My main objective, right, is for us to understand and respect the different perspectives, right, and priorities of, both tech and non-tech teams. And we also want to develop strategies for clear and effective communication. And finally, I mean, what's the point of talking about something if we're not going to talk about how we're going to get there? Explore practical and actionable steps for collaboration. Next slide. So we're going to start with, I mean, it's very easy for you to sit down somewhere and not look inwards. So we're going to step out and understand the perspective of, our I'll call them our techie colleagues, right? Let's put ourselves in their shoes for a minute. So tech teams are mostly always focused on innovation, scalability, and problem solving. They often use specialized language and methodologies. I'm sure you've heard about Agile and Scrum and things like that. And their goals are mostly always long-term and centered around like technological advancements. So if you know any devs and you're talking to them about, oh, we need to do X, Y, Z, the entire time, this is where they are like thinking about whatever it is that you're saying from. And this is where their focus is mostly always going to be coming from. So now let's move over to non-tech teams. Next slide, please. Yeah. So non-tech teams, that's us, right? So we are mostly always focused on market trends, client relationships, practical applications. You're always asking, okay, so I know you guys want to build XYZ, but like, how are you going to use it? So that's mostly what you find like a non-tech person asking about. Okay, I know that the, what's the code? The icon or the uploader is jumping, but okay, so what does that mean? Like, how does that translate into anything? Non-tech teams also prioritize clear, straightforward communication. And most times, this is not always a good thing, but we always want to get immediate results. Like you want to see the results of what you're doing now. Non-tech teams their goals are centered around customer satisfaction and business growth for the most part, right? And since we have a clear understanding of how both teams see or the perspectives, yeah, from both teams and how they both see what they're doing, let's talk about how we win. One, understand that we have common goals. I know it's hard, but the next time that you're trying to get something done and a dev is just like, I'm sorry, we can't do this thing that you're asking for, take a deep breath and remember that you have a common goal. You're both trying to get to the same destination. It's not the easiest, but it's something that we all need to do. Sometimes just take a breath and like, okay, so this person is saying, I want this thing done, and engineering is saying it's not possible. Let me take a deep breath. Okay, we both have a common goal. How are we going to get there? Next is effective communication, right? There's no way you can collaborate without communicating. I think that's like the most important thing in everything that I have to say. You want your communication to be clear and actionable, and everybody has to understand. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this just for a couple of seconds. I know everybody here, I'm going to go out on a limb and say everybody here can say one time in their career where somebody has said something that's not what the other person said, and XYZ said this and that, and then at the end, what was done was something entirely different from what should have been done in the first place. So that's something everybody can relate to. Unclear communication affects how we collaborate. So I think you always want to ask yourself, when you're communicating, you can ask yourself the 5 Ws. Who said what? What did they say? Why did they say it? Who did they say it to? And where is what they said supposed to take us to? So if your statement answers all those questions, then you know that you've communicated very clearly, because there's no way somebody else is going to see what you said or see what you read on Slack. Let me say Slack or Basecamp or whatever tool you use to communicate, right? No way someone's going to see what you said and be confused about what it is exactly that you're trying to say, right? And then the last one is mutual respect and learning. This one is also hard because some days there's going to be a dev that's going to be trying to drive you crazy. I mean, you're just saying, can we do this thing so that it can go out to the public? And someone is saying, no, we need to wait. We need to push something to prod. And you're like, can you just let me breathe, please? Right? In those moments, it's very easy to, again, remember that they see things from a different perspective than you do. And it means that it's not a bad thing. It just means that you both have to find a meeting point so that you're both able to do your jobs effectively. I'm going to wrap this up with a case study. How many of us know a small company, called Apple? You guys don't know Apple. Are they that small? You guys don't know, they should work on your marketing for real. Okay, so there's a small company, just doing small things. They're called Apple. And Apple is owned or was founded by Steve Jobs. And I think that almost everyone here has heard about Steve Jobs and finds his stories inspiring and all of that stuff, right? And Apple is a very clear example. For me, it's one of my favorite brands, especially because when you're talking about non-tech and tech teams working together, they're a perfect descriptor. When you hold an Apple device, and people always like to say Apple is a marketing company, not a product company. And I see why. It's because they've been able to merge their tech and non-tech teams to the point where they collaborate so well that it doesn't feel like there's any friction, right? So you have an iPhone. And I think almost everyone knows the story of the iPhone and how Steve Jobs was like, okay, no, we have XYZ, you can call and you can do this, but we want more. We want the phone that you have to look stylish. We want the phone that you have, you should be able to make calls, you should be able to talk to Siri and all of that stuff. And I'm sure during when they were doing their product deep dive to find out what exactly they wanted to build. It might have sounded a little bit crazy to the dev team, right? And they're like, so I know that you're saying that you want to do this, but we can't do this right now. This is not what's happening. And Apple is like a very, very, very big example that if tech teams and non-tech teams come together, we're going to be shipping very, very beautifully made and well-designed, product. So I'll end this with a quote from Steve Jobs, because he's my fave. Great things in business are never done by one person. They are done by a team of people. Thank you.
All right, all right. Put your hands together. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.